to everyone trapped in the Hanover bubble. I hope you are having a wonderful day in the exciting world of Hanover College. Welcome to the first episode of Breaking Out of the Bubble, a variety and news show created by the Student Broadcasting Association. I'm your host, Roxy Morris. Starting off, we have a pop culture review with your entertainment guides, Angelo and Savannah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the show.
Here you all will listen on pop culture reviews for movies, music, and TV shows.
Because personal opinion is way overrated.
For today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Emmys, which aired on Sunday, September 22nd.
Now, the Emmys is a long program, so we're only going to take a look at the three major awards, those being Best Actor, Actress, and Best Series, all in the drama category. We're not going to take a look at comedy because it doesn't take talent to make comedy these days.
You can ask Jonah Hill. Okay, so basically Angelo and I are going to discuss each nominee in each category, and then we're going to make our decision. We'll see who is right and who is wrong.
Yes, we will. And we're going to start off with those decisions with the lead actress category. And those nominees were Vera Farmiga of Bates Motel, Michelle Dockery of Downton Abbey, Claire Danes of Homeland, Robin Wright of House of Cards, Elizabeth Moss of Mad Men, Connie Britton of Nashville, and then Kerry Washington of Scandal. So who's it going to be?
I'd have to say by a landslide, for me, it'll have to be Kerry Washington.
Okay.
I am completely enamored with her. She is brilliant, she is beautiful. That show would literally be nothing without Kerry Washington. And because if she would have won, she would be the first African American to win best lead actress for a drama series.
See, I didn't know that. I'm a little bit torn on this one because if anyone watches Bates Motel, they know how bad the show is, but they know how great Vera Farmiga is. And so that's kind of, you got to fight with that, but at the same time, I have to go with Michelle Dockery because I love everything she does outside Downton Abbey as well as in Downton Abbey. So my pick has to go with Michelle Dockery.
Okay.
But to both of our demise, we both lose because Claire Danes wins it for Homeland, which I don't agree with this pick at all. But then again, I'm not the expert.
Seems like I'm not either because that's not who I would have chosen. I'm still rooting for Kerry Washington. Hopefully she is nominated again next year.
Hopefully.
So for the next category, we'll be discussing the lead actor race, which is really, really strong this year. You have nominees like Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, Hugh Bonneville from Downton Abbey, Damian Lewis from Homeland, Kevin Spacey from House of Cards, John Hamm from Mad Men, and Jeff Daniels from The Newsroom.
You know, I don't want to be the bad guy and say I'm not picking Bryan Cranston, but I'm not picking Bryan Cranston only because he's already won it. And I think it'd be unfair to pick him again. So I'm going to have to go with Damian Lewis. Even though I don't like Homeland, I love Damian Lewis because he's really, really scary. Mm-hmm. He just intimidates me, and he just brings so much to the table. So Damian Lewis, that's my final decision, locking it in.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with Kevin Spacey. He is bringing a little bit more weight than some of the other actors in this category, but I think he's just absolutely compelling and also terrifying in this role. And I do not see another actor really doing what he's done in this TV show. So that's who I'm going to go with, Kevin Spacey. But it seems we are both wrong because Jeff Daniels takes it for The Newsroom.
Man, I'm never going to be an expert because obviously I'm just dumb when it comes to TV shows and who's good and who's not. Whatever. So going on though to the biggest award of the night, and you have to really pay attention this year to understand how great of a race this was for the best drama series. Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, Mad Men, and House of Cards, and Homeland all brought to the table, and they slapped every fan in the world in the face of how good these shows were this year, especially season 4 of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad, which I think were absolute best shows this year.
Okay. For my decision, I am gonna have to just go with Breaking Bad. I mean, that show is just creating a storm everywhere it goes. Everyone is watching Breaking Bad, talking about Breaking Bad, tweeting, tumbling about it. Breaking Bad is everywhere. I'm just going to have to go with that show. Hopefully it wins.
I want to go with Breaking Bad, but if anyone saw season 4 of Game of Thrones and you saw the Red Wedding, and then if you saw the Red Wedding, you know just how great and how horrifically beautiful Game of Thrones is. And everyone knows that next year, Breaking Bad's going to just sweep the Emmys because of how great this season 5 is that's finishing up here soon. So I have to go with Game of Thrones just because of Red Wedding and the fact that Breaking Bad's just going to sweep it next year. And it wouldn't be fair to win 2 in a row. But against what I've said, Breaking Bad takes the gold, but I'm happily surprised. I'm not mad about it, and I'm excited for next year because they're going to take it again.
No, you can't be mad at a TV show like that. And I'm excited to get caught up on the rest of the seasons. I'm a little behind on the Breaking Bad fandom, but hopefully I'll be caught up soon enough, and I can root for them again next year.
Good. So, overall, the Emmys delivered a pretty good show. But as good as this show was and how shocking the picks were, next year's going to be way better because I'm looking forward to see what Breaking Bad's going to do.
I'm excited you all were here with us tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and I'd like to see you again.
Later.
Thank you, Angelo and Savannah, for that enlightening insight. Next, we have our World Headlines segment with Sarah Landis.
Thank you, Roxy. We start out our international news segment in Syria. You may have seen the horrible pictures of dead children on the news. Now, the United Nations has officially confirmed that chemical weapons were used in an attack on August 21, 2013. The rockets contained sarin, a gas that has no smell, taste, or color. Sarin disrupts the nervous system, causing constant stimulation of muscles, which can lead to difficulties breathing. The death toll is approximately 1,400 people. This violence is a continuation of the civil war in Syria between the regime of President Bashar Assad and his opposition. The United States and Russia have agreed to place all chemical in Syria under international control, with inspections starting in this November. Moving closer to our side of the world, and unfortunately more tragedy, you probably saw video of the horrible flooding in Colorado. But to our south in Mexico, citizens are trying to clean up after the recent impacts of Tropical Storm Manuel as well as Hurricane Ingrid. Both drenched the countryside, causing a massive landslide in La Pintata. 68 people are reported missing. The town of La Pintata is rebuilding outside the flood zone. Corruption is being blamed for the destruction because officials approved building permits in unsafe areas. The storms affected 24 of Mexico's 31 cities, causing 58,000 evacuations. In lighter news, there's a new extreme sport getting some press. In free diving, divers use their own lung capacity to dive deep into the depths of the ocean. They are able to freely interact with animals and move around the water. One diver recently broke the Australian record by diving 263 feet. That would be the same as swimming the length of a public swimming pool over 3 times in a single breath. I don't know about you, but I think I need a little bit more practice. And in celebrity news, a childhood favorite, Miss Piggy, and her longtime lover, Kermit, will be taking up residence at the Smithsonian Institute. The Diva Pig, as well as 20 other favorite Muppet puppet characters, will be on display this month. This has been Sarah Landis. Back to you, Roxy.
I'm glad to see Miss Piggy and Kermit settle down. Talk about a dramatic relationship. Jeez. Next, we go to our Student Spotlight. In this segment, we talk about Hanover students and their activities on and off campus, and what opportunities are available to get involved. Today, Lindsey Burke has a guest who spent his summer around some of the top names in sports. Lindsey?
Thanks, Roxy. Here at Hanover, one of the biggest advantages we have is experience for our future. Internships are a great way to gain extra experience for our future careers. Our own Matt Ryan gained some awesome experiences at his internship this summer. He worked at Channel 13 in Indianapolis. Matt, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's good to be here.
So you worked with the sports reporters at Channel 13,
That is correct. I was worked at Channel 13. I was with Dave Calabro, Eric Yutzi, and Rich Nye of the sports department there. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. So I know one of the very first things that you did was go report at the Indy 500. What was it like being in the pits?
That was pretty amazing. I mean, I've been to the 500 several times, but I had never been that close. So just getting to be up close with the drivers was really cool. And probably the best experience I had there was when I got to meet Elio Castroneves, who, if you remember, he was on Dancing with the Stars. So it was it was kind of weird. It was like, whoa, like it was just a lot of fun. I mean, being up close, personal with those guys was pretty cool.
So that was your favorite part at the 500. What would you say was probably your favorite part throughout your entire internship?
Favorite part throughout.
Maybe just your favorite, event.
Let's see here. Honestly, I'm a big sports guy, and normally I wouldn't say this, but I would have to say the Brickyard, working the other big race in Indianapolis. And granted, I mean, I got to work with the Colts, and I got to work with the Pacers, and the Fever, and all those different sports teams, but with the Brickyard, I really didn't know a whole lot about racing, and that just opened up a whole new world for me. And I got to interview Dale Earnhardt Jr., Danica Patrick, and Richard Petty, who are probably 3 of the biggest stars in the history of the sport. I got to meet Jeff Gordon, talk to him for a little bit, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you
Yeah.
got to meet tons and tons of people. Did you get a little starstruck at times?
Well, funny story. When I talked to Jeff Gordon, you know, one of my fraternity brothers is a huge Jeff Gordon fan, and he's like, Matt, you know, can you please give me his autograph? So I was like, you know, I'll pull some strings, see what I can do. So when I'm talking to him at the end of the interview, I'm like, hey, Jeff, can you sign this? And come to find out, Dave Calabro, he got on me big time. He said, when you are in this business, you do not ask for autographs at all. That's the one thing you don't do. And so, I mean, that was just a learning experience from there. But also, you know, I also got to interview Oscar Robertson, who, if you know who that is, he's one of the greatest NBA players of all time. And that was an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So you had all these awesome experiences. How exactly did you hear about the internship to begin with?
Well, the summer prior, I had a radio internship at a station in Indianapolis. And the goal for this past summer was to do TV because I wanted to get both sides of the business.
Right.
So all I did was I just emailed every single station in Indianapolis and set up interviews with all of them. Right away, 13 and Wish TV Channel 8 offered me the internship, but you know, Channel 13, they're the best. Dave Calabro's won countless Emmy Awards, and that's just, I think at Channel 13, I would get the best experience, and it would help me for my future career.
So going off of the things that you've learned, what thing do you think you're going to gain the most from your whole experiences?
I think I'll gain the most. Well, definitely, and Professor Winter said the same thing, I'm way more confident than I have ever been. I mean, just because before, you know, I was nervous. And a lot of people are nervous their first time in front of camera. But when you get to do it and do it and do it over again, you become less nervous. And I'm just so much more confident now in my voice, in my presence on camera, and everything. And another thing, connections. You get so many connections. Guys at Channel 13, they wrote me a great review, and they told me I will have no problem finding a job in the future. So glad about that. All the athletes, that was really cool meeting, because now with a couple of the Fever players, I know them now on a personal level. I still talk to them to this day, so that's pretty cool. And I also, my goal is to get to ESPN. It's going to be a long goal, but that's the goal. And I got to meet some reporters and a few of the anchors at ESPN while I was at the track and doing stuff with the Pacers and Colts. So
that's awesome. So I know that you put together some on-camera stuff, and we've got them here. So what exactly are you going to show us?
The best package I did was probably one with the Pacers in their playoff run. I got to go to all their pre-draft workouts, and I got to interview one-on-one all of those guys that came in, including Trey Burke from Michigan. That was pretty cool. Tim Robbins, or forget his name now. Anyway, yeah, I just got to interview a lot of guys, and that was pretty cool. And the stand-up was great. The package itself was really good, so got to do that. And then the final thing you're going to see is a newscast that I did from the station, and they really liked that. Dave Calabro said I should definitely use it as resume material, and yeah, so it's pretty good.
The 2013 NBA Draft will be very important this year, especially for the Indiana Pacers. After losing to the Heat in the playoffs, the Pacers have many needs to fill before next season. Pre-draft workouts give teams a final look at prospects they may choose in the draft. The Pacers held numerous workouts throughout June to try and find out just what they're looking for.
Every year at this time, everybody says it's a terrible draft. And yet when we get down to the draft, we'll all be fighting over these players. I guarantee it. There are good players in this draft. You know, there are good players for every team. We think there are good players for us. It's a matter of whether they're going to be where we pick.
The Indiana Pacers were one game away from making it to the NBA Finals. They're hoping that these draft workouts bring about some new talent, maybe even some local talent to get to the finals next year.
I mean, just a lot of energy. Obviously a fresh body always helps, bringing in the young guys that they can take a beating. And then my outside shot has improved quite a bit. So.
Just want to go out and show them you can play defense. You want to try to turn the negatives into positives, and that's the main thing. You get a lot of feedback on certain things you don't do well, as far as they may think I can't put the ball on the floor, or play defense, guard a perimeter, stuff like that. So you just go out here and you try to tweak everything that they say you can't do, and then just try to turn it into positive.
If I was drafted here, lucky enough to play here, I think I'd be a solid point guard and just be able to feed the post and try to run the offense and provide a lot of energy.
The NBA draft is a chance to rebuild. For the Pacers, it's a chance for revenge. Indiana has 2 picks in this draft, at number 23 and at number 53.
Good evening. The Fever have had their fair share of successes this season, but probably the top story belongs to their best player. Congratulations to Fever star Tamika Catchings. She's been named a starter on this year's Eastern Conference All-Star team. This will be her 8th appearance all year. The game is next Saturday night, the 27th, and Tamika is excited to be voted an All-Star again. The AAA All-Star game features the best in the minor leagues, and what a special night it was for your Indianapolis Indians. Well, Tony Sanchez, that is, he stole the show. Here's the second inning. Sanchez rears back and hits a bomb to deep right field. That's a 3-run shot, and it gives the International All-Stars the lead. They go on to win. Sanchez was named the top player thanks to that big hit. NASCAR comes to town next week for the Brickyard, and former driver John Andretti joins us tonight on the 13 Sports Jam to preview the big race. Andretti always kicks off Brickyard Week spending time at Riley Hospital. He instantly connected with the kids, had a great time. He's been raising money for the kids for 17 years with various events. As you can see, everybody had a great time. Andretti also teamed up with Kroger to put on a party after the special event. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to us today. Join us tonight on the 13 Sports Jam to hear more in sports.
So that was awesome. It seems like you've gotten lots and lots of experience, and I can't wait to get my own experience someday. Thank you for joining us. And if you're interested in pursuing an internship for credit, contact David Harden. His office is on the first floor of Hendricks Hall by the Point.
Well, that's our show. Please tune in next time for more campus news, as well as fun and excitement, brought to you by the Student Broadcasting Association. I'm Roxy Morris. Thanks for joining us.